Okay, folks, Rich Van Tassel back with you, continuing on with our recap of Week 3 of the NFL season, the early games. The New Orleans Saints pounded the Carolina Panthers 34-13. Again, one of these surprising games. In this one, uh, Drew Brees, 22 of 29, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mark Ingram rushing 14 of 56. That's exactly 4 yards per carry. Alvin Kamara, 2 of 37, which is 18.5 yards per carry. 1 touchdown. Adrian Peterson, 9 of 33, 3.7. Ted Ginn Jr. on a 15-yard run. Tommy Lee Lewis had an 8-yard run. The team altogether 27 of 149, 5.4 yards per rush. You look at it, though, between their two main backs, they were 23 of 89, which is well below the 4 yards per carry mark. Well, not well below, but certainly below it. And those numbers are buoyed up by 4 rushes by 3 separate guys of 60 yards. So there you have it. Michael Thomas, top receiver, 7 of 87, 1 touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr., 2 of 44, 1 touchdown. Mark Ingram, 2 of 30. Brandon Coleman had an 11-yard touchdown. The team had 4 sacks, 1 for Cameron Jordan, 1 for Alex Okafor, 1 for Trey Hendrickson, and 1 for Holohi Kika. Kenny Vaccaro, P.J. Williams, Marcus Williams all had interceptions. Kenny Vaccaro returned his 30 yards, P.J. Williams 7. Neither one of those were touchdowns. Will Lutz 2 for 3 in his field goals. For the Panthers, Cam Newton, 17 of 26, 167 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, so not a good day for him at all. Derek Anderson, 2 of 7, 17 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The team altogether 19 of 33, 156 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, so bad quarterback play for the Panthers. Jonathan Stewart, 12 of 57, 4.8 yards per rush. Curtis Samuel had a 31-yard rush. Cam Newton had 3 carries for 16 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 4 of 16. The team altogether 22 of 132, that's 6 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, top receiver, 9 for 101. Devin Funchess, 4 for 58. Ed Dixon, 1 of 8. Kelvin Benjamin, 2 of 8. Matt Khalil recovered a fumble. Cam Newton fumbled twice, recovered one of them, did not lose the other. The team only had 1 sack. It was Mario Addison, so give the backup tackles for the Saints credit. We talked about them struggling with their 2 tackles out as they did last week, but not today. We talked about that in the preview, and certainly they made the adjustments. Curtis Samuel had a 30-yard kick return. Damian Byrd a 9-yard punt return. Christian McCaffrey had a 3-yard punt return. Graham Gano was 2 for 2 in his field goal. So New Orleans, give them credit for getting it together without the tackles. Their defense certainly played very well. I don't know if Carolina did not really see much of this game. I don't know if Carolina did try to go downfield and attack the secondary that was without 2 cornerbacks in this one, and that's why the interceptions happened. I would assume that would have been the case, but again, I can't speak to that. Cam Newton did not play very well. This is a game Carolina just has to, spit the bad taste out of their mouth and move forward, but certainly not the effort you would have expected here. So I'm a little surprised by this. They did run the ball pretty well. New Orleans, again, their running numbers look pretty good, but between their 2 main backs, they're really not very good at all. So that's something that they've really got to figure out and get together and move forward with, because that has to happen for them. Drew Brees can only take you so far, and it protects your defense. But, hey, give their defense credit in this one. I don't know if it was more the Saints' defense or the Carolina Panthers' offense, but New Orleans, don't be deceived by those running numbers in this game. Right, the Patriots did win. It was funny. The Patriots were down by 5, and I had talked to one of my friends on Facebook and said, as sure as the sun rising in the east, Tom Brady goes down the field and gets the touchdown, and sure enough, that's what happened. It was 36-33. Houston drops to 1-2. New England is now 2-1. Deshaun Watson, 22 of 33, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Lamar Miller, 13 carries of 56 yards. Deshaun Watson, 8 of 41. That's 4 yards and 5.1 respectively. Donta Foreman, 8 of 25, 3.1 yards per rush. The team altogether 32 of 125 and just shy of the 4 yards per carry mark at 3.9. DeAndre Hopkins receiving 7 of 76. Donta Foreman 2 of 65. Ryan Griffin 5 of 61. Bruce Ellington 4 of 59. Griffin and Ellington both had the touchdowns. Chris Clark and Jadeveon Clowney both recovered fumbles. Deshaun Watson fumbled twice but did not lose any of them. So 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, even though the fumbles were not lost. Not good for Deshaun Watson. And it's as I expected. He was probably seeing things he's never seen before. Jadeveon Clowney had 2 sacks. Whitney Merciless had a sack. Christian Covington had a sack. Marcus Gilchrist had a sack for 5 total. and J.J. Watt did not have one of them. So the Patriots have got to work on their offensive line, but we'll get into that in a moment. No interceptions. Tyler Ervin, 3 kick returns, 52 yards. Jordan Todman, 1 of 23. Tyler Ervin, 3 punt returns for 20 yards. Kymeen Fairbairn, 4 of 4 in his field goals for the New England Patriots. Tom Brady, 25 of 35, 378 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Look at those numbers. Mike Gillislee, 12 carries, 31 yards, 2.6 yards per rush. James White, 5 of 17, 3.4 yards per rush. Tom Brady had a 6-yard rush. The team altogether 20 of 59, 3 yards per rush. So Houston's defensive line was very good, obviously with the sacks and preventing the running game. But there's been struggles for New England with the running game at times this season. Brandon Cooks, 5 receptions, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the game-winning touchdown. Robert Gronkowski, 8 of 89, 1 touchdown. Chris Morgan, 4 of 68, 2 touchdowns. Danny Amendola, 3 of 48. Shaq Mason, David Andrews both recovered fumbles. Tom Brady fumbled 3 times and lost one of them. Rob Gronkowski recovered or just fumbled and was not lost. 2 sacks. Trey Flowers and Cassius Marsh had them both. Stephon Gilmore, 1 interception, returned at 39 yards. Deron Harmon, 1 of 12. So you look at that Gilmore, DeAndre Hopkins matchup. Gilmore had an interception. DeAndre Hopkins had 7 receptions, 76 yards. You give a slight edge to Stephon Gilmore in that one. If you want to say push, okay, but I would give the slight edge to Stephon Gilmore. Deion Lewis, 2 kick returns, 44 yards. That's a 22-yard average. 22-yard average, yes. Longest 24, so pretty consistent. Damian Amendola, 2 punt returns for 53 yards, a longest of 33 with a 26.5 yards per average. So that's pretty good. That means he had one that was 33 yards, the other 20 yards. You'll take those on punt returns. Steven Gostkowski did not kick a field goal. So New England coming back and getting the win. Houston, look, they played pretty much as well as you can, except their defense, gave up the lead. Offensively, I mean, that is. They played as well as they can. I should have specified. I'm sorry. Deshaun Watson, did what he had to do. He did have 2 interceptions and fumbled twice, even though they weren't lost. So there were a few things that you just can't have when you're trying to beat the defending champions on the road. But all in all, this is, you'll take that from a rookie starting quarterback. Their defense really let them down in this game. You don't, even with the way they shut down the running game and were able to get sacks, you've got to be able to hold on to that lead. But a lot of people have said that against Tom Brady when he has the ball and a chance to win. As for the Patriots, they've got to figure out that running game. The defense is looking spotty at times, especially at home. They played pretty well against New Orleans last week, and that's a good offense. So what are you going to make of their defense? It's something to keep an eye on. This was a rookie quarterback on the road being able to do what they did. So it's something that is certainly a cause for concern with the New England Patriots moving forward. Told you about this one too. I'm surprised Chicago won, but I knew it would be competitive. 23-17 in overtime. The Bears come away with the victory. They get their first win of the year. Ben Roethlisberger, 22 of 39, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Le'Veon Bell, 15 carries, 61 yards, 4.1 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. The team, 17 of 70, 4.1 yards per rush, and the Le'Veon Bell touchdown. Antonio Brown, 10 receptions, 110 yards, so they didn't let him get down the field. Chicago did. 1 touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 of 39. Le'Veon Bell, 6 of 37. Martavius Bryant, 2 of 30. Jesse James, 2 of 19. So clearly Chicago said, we're not going to let you go downfield. We'll let you throw to Antonio Brown as much as you want underneath. And that's reflected in the 10 for 110. And Le'Veon Bell as well with 6 receptions. They were just not allowing Pittsburgh to go downfield. Ryan Shazier recovered a fumble. Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Rogers both lost a fumble. 2 sacks, Anthony Ciccolillo, Javon Hargrave. J.J. Wilcox had an interception. Terrell Watson, a 24-yard kick return. Eli Rogers, 3 punt returns, 15 yards. Chris Boswell, 1 for 2 in his field goals. You lose an overtime game. Clearly that field goal comes back to bite you. Mike Glennon, 15 of 22, 101 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jordan Howard, 23 of 138 running. That's 6 yards per rush, 2 touchdowns. Tariq Cohen, 12 of 78. By the way, Jordan Howard had the game-winning rush in overtime. Or that might have been Tariq Cohen. No, it had to be Jordan Howard. I thought it was longer than 19 yards, so I don't know what I'm looking at exactly. That probably just set up the game winner. And I'm just mistaken. My apologies. Altogether, 38 rushes for 220 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. So give them credit with their running game. Jordan Howard, top receiver, 5 of 26. Tariq Cohen, 4 of 24. Benny Cunningham, 3 of 23. And actually, I completely forgot. I want to touch back on that missed field goal by Boswell in a moment. We'll get this fumble list for the Bears. Sherrick McManus, Akeem Hicks, and Bobby Massey all recovered fumbles. Jordan Howard lost the fumble. Mike Glennon fumbled and recovered 2, did not lose any. Marcus Cooper fumbled once, it was not lost. Cody Whitehair, same thing. 1 fumble, not recovered or lost. And Tariq Cohen, the same thing as well. 3 sacks, 1 by Willie Young, 1 by Pernell McPhee, and Bryce Callahan had the other. No interceptions. Deontay Thompson, 3 kick returns, 69 yards, longest of 29 on a 23 yards per carry average. That's good. Tariq Cohen had 1 punt return of no yards, corner berth, 1 for 2 in his field goals. So you had 2 missed field goals, and a game that went to overtime. On Chris Boswell's missed field goal, it was actually blocked. It was recovered. The guy showboated down the end. It was knocked out of the back of the end zone. They ended up getting the ball back with a chance to play. I thought it should have been a safety because Pittsburgh batted it out of the back of the end zone, which is a penalty after the guy fumbled. I don't know, they gave Chicago the ball, they had a penalty, but clearly you can't have that showboating. I told you about this game. Look, Chicago, John Fox is still a good coach. I don't care what people say. He gets his teams ready to play. Sometimes he just doesn't have the talent, as is the case with Chicago. But trying to start anew, as we said, it was the same thing with the Atlanta game coming out. When you're 0-2 in this case, you're trying to, basically see what you can do and get moving forward. Give Glennon credit, even though his numbers were not very good. They were able to run the ball well. Pittsburgh's offense inconsistent as well. Whenever you get big games from some guys in week 1, it was either week 1 or week 2. I can't remember exactly the breakdown. Antonio Brown had a good game. Le'Veon Bell did not. Le'Veon Bell had a good game. Antonio Brown did not. I don't remember which one it was, but you get the sense. In this game, Le'Veon Bell, decent, 15 of 61, over 4 yards, but only 1 touchdown, but nothing spectacular. In Antonio Brown, the 10 receptions, only 110 yards, though, and 1 touchdown. So, again, nothing spectacular. So, Pittsburgh has really got to sharpen their tools on the offensive side of the ball if they want to move forward and be the serious contender they think they are, and certainly others as well think they are. Detroit Lions, Detroit lost this. Whoa, I'm sorry, I must have missed something. It looked like Detroit got a touchdown to win. I guess they overturned it. We'll have to check that in a moment because it looked good from what I had. So Atlanta getting the victory, 30-26. I'm surprised. I picked Detroit to win this game. I thought I watched the touchdown. That's when I turned it back to the Eagles game. I guess it was overturned. Matt Ryan, 24 of 35, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Devontae Freeman, 21 carries, 106 yards, 5 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Tevin Coleman, 6 of 46, 7.7 yards per rush. The team, 28 of 151, 5.4 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Julio Jones, 7 of 91, which is 13 yards per reception, did not have a touchdown. I don't believe he's had a touchdown yet this season. No, he is not. Something to keep an eye on as we move forward. Taylor Gabriel, 5 of 79, he had a touchdown. Tevin Coleman, 3 of 43. Mohamed Sanu, 4 of 28. He had the other touchdown. No fumbles. The team had 2 sacks, even without Vic Beasley Jr., Adrian Claiborne, and Takaris McKinley. No interceptions. Andre Roberts, 2 punt returns, 54 yards, the longest of 38, however. 2 punt returns by Roberts for 38 yards, the longest of 27. Matt Bryant, 3 for 3 in his field goals. Matt Bryant, does not miss. Matt Stafford, 25 of 45, 264 yards. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Amir Abdullah running 14 of 47, 3.4 yards per rush. Matthew Stafford, 2 of 19, 9.5 yards per rush. The team, 19 of 71, 3.7 yards per rush. Good distribution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys caught passes. 7 of them more than 1. And 2, 4, 5 of them 3 or more. So again, the quantity over quality. T.J. Jones, 3 receptions, 63 yards. Golden Tate, 7 of 58 with the touchdown. Amir Abdullah, 3 of 39. Theo Riddick, 4 of 38. That's how Detroit is going to run their offense all year long. 2 sacks, 1 for Anthony Zettel, the other Jeremy Valaga. Ezekiel Ansah did not have one. He was on the injury report as questionable, and he was basically only in pass rushing situations. I can't remember if they lined him up on the right side or the left side, but certainly without Ryan Schrader, give Sam Barillo credit for what he did. Darius Slay, 2 interceptions, returned both of them for 52 yards. Glover Quinn, 52 yards combined, that is. Glover Quinn had a 37-yard interception return for a touchdown. Jamal Agnew, 1 punt return for 11 yards. Golden Tate, or 1 kick return for 11 yards by Agnew, 1 punt return for 10 yards by Golden Tate. Matthew Prater 4 for 4 in his field goals. So I want to see what happened because it looked like Detroit got the game-winning touchdown. It was close, but I'm shocked that they overturned it, and I guess I missed the stop. Again, I turned it off. It looked good. At first it looked like, okay, maybe, but I was almost certain it was a touchdown in this one. So I'm not sure what happened. Honestly, I'm not getting the report of it right now. So Detroit, hey, they were game in this one. I'm just trying to read the social media. I got to see what happens. Maybe I'll do a recap later on with this. I'm so sorry, folks. I saw the touchdown. It looked good from what I had, and I can't get the reports here because I turned it off. I was almost certain it was, and I went back to that Philly-New York Giants game. So maybe I'll do a special report with that one. I don't know. I have to figure out and see what happened. Again, I apologize. It looked good. I turned it off. Again, I came on here expecting that the Lions won. So we'll just break down the game. Matthew Stafford did have 20 incompletions. That's not very good. They've got to improve their running. You would have liked to have seen some sacks with Ezekiel Ansah lined up on the right side. Atlanta, hey, give them credit. They've got 2 tough road wins thus far this season. And, you know, they're talking about that call and the refs having trouble. There was a lot of hanky-panky of terrible offensive pass interference call on that last drive. So we're gonna look into that for you. This is just the game at the end. Atlanta, the running game is starting to come along. Matt Ryan, the 3 interceptions, clearly can't have that, and they've got to get Julio Jones in the end zone. So, look, I'll investigate what happened with the end of that game and get back to you. Again, once more, I apologize. I saw it. It looked good from what I saw, so I went back to the Giants and the Eagles, which we'll get into right now. Giants dropped into 0-3, gut-wrenching loss for them as they lose 27-24 to the Philadelphia Eagles on a 61-yard field goal at the end. Eli Manning, look, I thought he was going to do what I said in this game, some way, somehow find a way to win this game. 35 of 47, 366 yards, 3 touchdowns. The 2 interceptions came early, the 3 touchdowns came late. Orleans Dorqua, 7 carries, 22 yards, 3.1. Paul Perkins, 9 of 22, 2.4. 17 of 49, altogether 2.9 yards per rush. Sterling Shepard, 7 receptions, 133 yards, a 77-yard touchdown. Odell Beckham Jr., 9 for 79, 2 touchdowns. Brandon Marshall getting involved, 8 of 66. Evan Ingram, 5 of 45. Eli Apple recovered a fumble. The team had 3 sacks. Jay Bromley, Devin Kennard, and Olivier Vernon. No interceptions. Dwayne Harris, 2 kick returns, 41 yards. That's 20.5 yards per average. He had a punt return but did not get any yards. Aldrick Rosas made a 41-yard field goal. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz, 21 of 31, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Wendell Smallwood, 12 carries, 71 yards, 5.9 yards per rush. LeGarrette Blount, 12 of 67, 5.6, a touchdown. Corey Clement, 6 of 22, 1 touchdown. Carson Wentz, 6 of 22. And Carson Wentz had 2 fourth-down conversions running the ball. The team 39 of 193, 4.9 yards per rush, and the 2 touchdowns. So Philly didn't throw the ball well. The Giants' secondary was good in this game, but they could not stop the run enough. Alshon Jeffrey, 4 of 56. Zach Ertz, 8 of 55 with the touchdown. Torrey Smith, 4 of 29. Zach Ertz lost the fumble. We'll get into that in a moment. No sacks, so give the offensive line credit. They did not allow Philly to sack Eli Manning. Sorry, I'm stumbling there. The New York Giants were going to a lot of quick passes. That was one of the adjustments I didn't even expect. I said look for them to do a lot of things, either chip, either pull Eric Flowers, either line up an extra offensive lineman. The most obvious thing you do is what I didn't even mention in the report. They were just getting it out of Eli's hands quick. Patrick Robinson and Rasul Douglas had interceptions. Again, the interceptions were early. The touchdowns were late. Wendell Small with 2 kick returns, 38 yards. Corey Clement, 1 of 35. Torrey Smith, 1 punt return for 9 yards. Jake Elliott 2 for 3 in his field goals. I didn't see the missed one. He made the 61-yarder to win. Look, heartbreaking for the Giants. They were down 14-0. I think Ben McAdoo made some wrong calls at the end of the first half. Look, a lot of times, I get it. You go for fourth down. Usually, when you're inside the 5, you go for a fourth down. Your defense has been struggling, though. You got to get points. Philadelphia was not putting the game away. And it really came back to bite them in this situation. And then later, when they were down 14-0 and their offense was still not going anywhere, they went for it on another fourth down because they had to get the ball in the end zone. And then they ended up breaking loose and scoring very quickly. One was the 77-yard touchdown. The fumble by Ertz set it up. So, hindsight is always 20/20, but in this case, I'm pretty sure foresight was 20/22. Ben McAdoo should have taken the points when he had it. The Giants came back. Like we said, Eli Manning was not sharp. Philadelphia did not put him away. He got the touchdowns quick. Then they gave up a pass on with 1 second left to give them a chance at the field goal on the 61-yarders. Philadelphia is now 2-1. Carson Wentz has got to play better than he did today. But look, it's a tough Giants secondary. They established the run and got that done. But really, the Eagles' offense was not very sharp at all. New York Giants offense was bad as it has been and then just completely broke out of it, but a tough loss for them moving forward. And then we will wrap it up with the Indianapolis Colts in, two terrible teams playing. They beat the Browns 31-28. DeShone Kizer, maybe not after that. Maybe that week 1 was much more of an aberration than anything. 22 of 47, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So you're throwing this guy out there. Look, the important thing is to make sure he doesn't get discouraged at this point because I think he's got talent, but there's not enough talent on the team, and you're seeing the bad numbers come. DeShone Kizer, 7 carries, 44 yards, 6.3 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Isaiah Crowell, 12 of 44. Duke Johnson Jr., 2 of 23, 11.5. He had a touchdown, 21 of 111, rushing, 5.3 yards per rush. Duke Johnson Jr., top receiver, 6 for 81. Kenny Britt, 3 of 54, 1 touchdown. Seth DeVale, 2 of 29. Jordan Leslie, 1 of 26. David Njoku, 2 of 12. He had a touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys caught passes on only 22 completions. Christian Kursky recovered a fumble. DeShone Kizer fumbled. It was not lost. So even though the fumble wasn't lost, a lot of turnovers, as we said, with Deshaun Watson, of course, and Jameis Winston with the fumbles not being lost, but still a tendency to put the ball where it shouldn't be. The team had 3 sacks. One of them was split between Christian Kursky and Joel Sopper. Emmanuel Ogbah had 1, and Nate Orchard had the other. Of course, Myles Garrett didn't play. Jabril Peppers had 1 punt return for no yards, no kick return. Zane Gonzalez did not attempt a field goal. For the Indianapolis Colts, Jacoby Brissett, 17 of 24, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Frank Gore, 25 of 57, 2.3 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Indianapolis got off to a big lead. Clearly, they were trying to salt it away because they still didn't run the ball very well. 36 of 92 altogether, which is 2.6 yards per rush. You run the ball 36 times and you don't get to 100. That's a problem. T.Y. Hilton, 7 of 153, 1 touchdown, a longest of 61. So you saw Brissett, 259 yards on only 17 completions. There it is, the 61-yarder, and T.Y. Hilton had a bulk of them. Dante Moncrief, 2 of 44. Quan Bray, 1 of 22. Jack Doyle lost a fumble. The team had 1 sack. It was John Simon. Rashawn Melvin, 2 interceptions, returned them for 28 yards combined. Malik Hooker, the rookie, had a 12-yard interception return, not for a touchdown. Quan Bray, 3 punt returns, 16 yards, no kick returns. Adam Vinatieri, 1 for 1 in his field goals. Look, big for Cleveland, as we just discussed. DeShone Kizer, he's clearly... that Pittsburgh game was not what you'd see. That's obviously a situation where a rookie, you don't really have film on him coming out in week 1, getting a feel out. Clearly, he is not ready to be a starter. I don't think it's doing him any service putting him in the game like this. If Cody Kessler can't beat out DeShone Kizer, then, what do you do in Cleveland? For Indianapolis, look, they had to get this win. Jacoby Brissett, efficient. The running numbers, again, not good. but you're trying to salt the game away, but still you got to be able to get over 100 yards on over 35 carries. So they've got to work on that because they're going to need it with their quarterbacks, even though Jacoby Brissett was not bad in this game. It's a situation, even when Andrew Luck comes back, you're going to want to protect him, and who knows when he comes back. So Indianapolis got to figure out the running situation. All right, so be sure to stay tuned. When the 4 o'clock games go final, we will give you the recap of those. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you in a little bit.